The Ben Heck Show is brought to you by Element 14, the electronic design community and online store built for engineers and hobbyists alike. Join now and browse the store at element14.com.
In the year 2000, Ben Heckendorn built his first mod.
We can rebuild it. Smaller, better, portable.
Since then, he has continued his work, helping those in need with creative new projects. Got an idea you'd like to see built? Why not send it to the Ben Heck Show?
Hello and welcome back to the Ben Heck Show. In this episode, we'll be getting our new pinball machine ready for the Midwest Gaming Classic and also have a special guest, Jeri Ellsworth, my arch nemesis. Let's get started, shall we?
We're back with Pinball Wars. So what I'm working on today is the ramps. The ramps are really tricky, but we have powerful flippers, so I think it will increase our chances of it working well. So right here, I've got a representation of a ramp and also the second layer of the playfield where the ramp leads to, which is right here on this plane. And we're making that quite a good distance above the pop bumpers so we know that it'll clear. So there's our basic ramp shape. It's got a groove here for the ball to roll up. So now what we have to do is subtract these things on the end to make it fit, because right now it's going down to the table. So we can take another square here. And this is where it's very important to know what all your angles are. So in this case, we're at 6.5 degrees for the table's rotation. And the ramps themselves on the table, my first guesstimate is this. So there's going to be a big right ramp. It'll loop around, it'll come down and deploy here, hopefully. There's a left ramp, a little tighter, harder shot. It loops around here using inertia and then comes down into the donkey wheel. And then the balls can queue up here for a lock ball or multi-ball. Or they can just pass right straight through the return lane and go back down there. So yeah, we'll try routing this out and hopefully it'll work on the first or fifth try.
So, this past Saturday, Ben and I got some more parts for Lost Pinball, and so we spent the day kind of putting more things in place. So now you'll see we've got some nice targets here in 4 spots. Then we put in some rollover switches in the in and out lanes, also not the same as In-N-Out Burger. And then then we put this one here too, so we can sense when the ball has been popped out of the launcher here. And then we also put our first toy on the board, which is the Black Rock. And we put in this little space here so the ball can actually shoot through there, and then it'll go right into the pop bumpers and kind of randomness will ensue. I think that's kind of the brunt of it. And then we started programming some modes also, which we'll show you later on.
So what we're doing here is we're using the 16th inch bit, which I hope doesn't break, to route a groove in the plastic so we can put the ramp into it so that it's on a slant. So this is going to be the side piece, and this groove will allow us to put the ramp part into it. This is where a laser engraver would come in very handy, but we didn't have time to go use one. My arch nemesis, Jeri Ellsworth, she has one. So I spit at thee. Khan! Well, I'm under no delusions that these are going to be the final ramp, so as long as we can make something that works. I don't care how pretty it looks at the time. Okay, so we've rebuilt our donkey wheel. So we've got some wall pieces, and then we have the centerpiece. So we're going to put these around this to give it some structure, and the balls will roll through it. So we're going to make the transition points from the ramp to the platform area by cutting some pieces of this thin metal. They don't need to be that big. And then we'll put screws in it so the ball will roll over it and have a smooth transition. So we're using acrylic here just because it's easy to test the ramps, but gotta be careful not to crack the acrylic when we're driving screws through it. Try passing the ball through it.
How am I supposed to do that with all this stuff
You just have to do it.
I guess I see what you're... Is that going in manually?
Yes!
This doesn't manually fit. But
Well, just manually see if the ball. That's where it exits.
yes, so it's gonna come in here.
Then gravity.
It
Looks
should
like it'll
go.
work.
I think it'll work.
So the next thing we need to do is make a wall for this using whatever material we can find laying around. And I have some metal, but I think it'd be hard to make it stick. So I'm probably gonna try plastic.
Do you know where pinball machines first came from?
Actually, no.
There were pool tables once, taken by the Dark Lord, tortured, mutilated, a ruined form of entertainment, now perfected. Whom do you serve?
I guess it's gonna be.
Action. We should try to hit these ramps before we glue them in place.
Oh, no, it didn't.
Oh, there it goes.
Green.
All right, try to hit the ramps. Ow!
I hit it. Yes, this works. It just took a hammer and that's about it, a hammer.
There we go. All right, that worked. So we'll put these supports in where it needs it the most. Like where the ball comes up here and hits this, we want to make sure that's the most steady. But I think once we have this stabilized, it'll keep the ball from jumping, but we could still increase the size of this wall back here. Ha-ha! I cheated! So the back of it is this flimsy crab, and it's kind of way too flexible. So now that we have the plastic in place, I'm going to try bolting on this aluminum, which should absorb a lot of the energy and cause the ball to smoothly roll around instead of bouncing around crazily. How many clamps does it take to make a ramp? This many. Haha, it worked!
Maybe on it.
Oh, there we go. Hello. Oh!
Tears.
I guess we gotta work on that next.
Yeah.
So now we're putting more patented bent pieces of metal at the back of the ramps. It's not pretty, but it'll at least keep the ball from getting stuck back there.
Well, once you have posts.
Yeah, once we have posts. All right, so here's another bent piece of metal. So this is going to be the one-way gate for the ball launch. There's no logic to this gate. Okay, the hammer, tap the end of the screwdriver. That didn't work. This is supposed to be teamwork, I guess.
It says Bengineering 101.
It's a team building exercise. That's what they would say in business. Okay, so the big thing we did today was we added some ramps, and the ramp design actually worked pretty much on the first try. We did run into something. This one's not so bad, but this one is kind of a shorter ramp, so you have a steeper angle. That way you can still hit this. However, sometimes the ball will sail off this, so we had to put something back there to kind of catch the ball like a curve. But the basic premise where this right shot, inertia pulls the ball back here and drains it this way, and this left shot, the inertia pulls the ball back here and goes into the wheel, which will return down here. So that part is working pretty good. And then we're not going to have it in time for the show, but what there's going to be a little lever here. So the balls will be collected in this trough. So we can collect up to 3 balls here, and then when multi-ball happens, we'll let them out one at a time, and then all heck will break loose. And here's the bent piece of metal which swallowed my life. So basically it's one way. So the ball will shoot through it, but it will not go back through it. Here's our hatch. It's actually a shot on the way to the big right ramp, but most of the time it's closed, so the ball will just pass over it, but it can open. So we have a basic hinge here, and there's some brackets here that hold the spacers in place, and then we'll have this motor, and then it goes whoop, to open the hatch, and it can close it. So yeah, I think we can get this working in time for the show, opening and closing hatch. Let's have to put like a little lip here, perhaps a staple, so the hatch, when it's closed, it'll be flush with the surface of the board. I think I'm in the hatch, brother. My thought here is that little post should keep it from opening too far and getting itself stuck. I need more slack. All right.
Indeed.
Okay, that's open. Let's see if this works. Come on, baby, work. All right, it worked. So this is the new board, by the way. We made some changes and some improvements, and hopefully less mistakes. Well, we didn't really have mistakes on the old board. They were just theories that didn't work. So this one has a through hole, which means the pins go through the board, through hole. And I did this for two reasons. One, if we somehow blow one of these circuits, we can just easily replace it because it's socketed. And two, the socketed chips look beefier. They do the same thing as the surface mount chips, but the board looks tougher, even though it does the same function. So we've got most of the parts. We just have to put in, okay, so those are the input shift registers. We have to put in the pull-up resistors here, and the crystals and the EEPROMs for the processors here, and of course the SD card slots.
All right, so we are removing the Rev 1 PCB since it had some theory deficiencies, I guess we'll call it. I think that's how Ben describes it. So we're gonna take this one out, and Ben's in the other room working on the new board, and so we'll get that one popped in here and get it all hooked up and make sure it works, which I'm sure it will.
Anyway, son, don't make the mistakes I did in life. I am a bitter old man, but you are a young stallion of power. Okay, Dad, I'm gonna go out there and get it and experience monomyth. Good luck, son. Now I die. Bleh.
So this bank of 4 integrated circuits here, these are the input shift registers, parallel input, serial out, and that allows us to sense the switches and other, basically senses things on the board. But what you have to do is, with pretty much any switch, you have to give it a known state. So these little surface mount resistors here, they pull each of the lines up to positive 5 voltage, or logic level 1. So even if there's no switches attached to the shift register, it'll still register all 1s. But when a switch triggers, it pulls it low to ground, which will be a 0. So this is kind of a boring but necessary step. Okay, so we're gonna put the new board in, and we're gonna test. We're not gonna hook it up to the solenoids until we know that everything's working, but we're getting it hooked back up so we can test it very soon. So now we're just trying to get the system working with our existing program, so we've got to change a few things. Right now we're having troubles mounting the SD cards, which happens quite frequently, so we're trying to find a solution.
May is a busy month for the Ben Heck Show and the Element 14 community. Starting off the month, Jeri Ellsworth, who's been helping with this episode, will be giving the keynote speech at the Embedded Systems Conference in San Jose, California, also known as Silicon Valley. That event runs from May 2nd through the 5th. If you can't attend the event in person, check out the Element 14 community, where you can watch Jeri's videos as she covers the event in her own special way. If you're at the event, be sure to stop by booth 827, where Element 14 will be there to answer questions and show off some cool stuff. Element 14 is also the official sponsor of the ESC Theater, one of the event's most popular features. Speakers there will be presenting the Mind of the Engineer study, tearing down some cool pieces of technology such as the Nintendo DS and the Nook Color, and basically totally geeking out. Also, don't forget, we'll be at the Bay Area Maker Faire on May 21st through the 22nd. Stop by the Element 14 booth and you can check out the Hackerspace Global Challenge finalists, Ben Innes' art projects, and meet the rest of us, including me. You can also follow what's going on at element14.com. Now, back to the show.
Don't stop programming.
I better tweet how the battle's going.
I'm gonna drill you, Quaid!
I am Parker Dillman, also known as the Longhorn Engineer. While you two have been battling it out amongst yourselves, I have been completing my greatest work ever. Behold, Reset Vector! It is fully functional and nearly complete. Soon I will be the ultimate power in the pinball universe, and then nothing can stop me now. So long, suckers!
You know what? I was wrong.
I'm sorry, Ben.
I think we have a new common enemy now. So we've got a hatch where the ball goes, and we think it's going to go down there and get caught, and then we're going to have a kicker that goes and kicks it up through here. So we're going to manually route a hole. I know that's against everything I stand for, but we're going to see if this works. So, in here.
What if it's going to need to be a little more square here to make that smooth transition up?
It's almost too slow. Yeah. Like when it gets that fine. This is the security fence from Lost, the Sonic security fence from Lost. Ben drew this up on the computer, and then we fed it into the 3D printer, and it printed it out of plastic.
All right, so this is the kick-out chute that's going to kick the ball from the bottom side of the play field back onto the top side after it drops into the, what's that called, trap door of some sort? The hatch. So it's going to kick it back up. And these are two sidewalls that I just fabricated to keep the ball from falling into the bottom of the play, underneath the play field. So they fit in here like this. And this is the kicker here. It's going to kick it back to the top. It's awful low.
Yeah. Oh, we could notch this and make a part that comes up. How about that? Gravity should still hold it. Oh, yeah, no problem. Increase the power to 1,000,000%. Oh, here, you may do it.
Oh, that's nice.
If we increase the time, we can give a little bit more power. Jeri and I put that together out of junk. So
It's not closing.
is there a hatch closed?
Yep. And it's clockwise because opening's counterclockwise.
Okay, let's. So if that switch gets triggered, it tries to close it no matter what.
Yep.
It looked like it went down.
It's supposed to, like when it hits the switch, it's gonna try to close the hatch before it kicks the ball.
How about a different option for opening the trap door? So it looks something like that. There's this.
Oh yeah, I've got those on Paxton. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the solenoid mounts down here, and somehow it attaches to the solenoid.
So like, open it.
Yeah.
So then we'd have the hatch.
These are fairly thin and strong.
So the hatch should be here. So like, open it, close it.
Yeah.
Or I guess it could go either way.
Yeah.
That could work. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to try to take this thing that works in theory, but obviously is a total prototype, i.e. crap, and rebuild it with some stronger material such as aluminum, and also put a little scoop in it, so instead of the ball going bam, boom, down, it'll be like, boom, a curve in, so like a curve here for the ball.
I'm worried.
We got munchos, we're good. Hey, Scoop, check the munchos!
Alright, so we're here now and we're trying to come up with modes for the game since, you know, we can do all this great technical stuff, but if we don't have any modes, it's not very much fun. So I'm here with Dale and we're kind of brainstorming right now for things we want to do, and we're trying to make like modes that fit into the overall arc of the game, like going through the seasons and the whole story of the show, but at the same time we want to have kind of character-driven modes that you can do at any time in the game. So for characters like Charlie, we have like a kick heroin mode, for instance, since that was a big thing with him, trying to cast out those demons. Locke, we want to have him do like a boar hunting mode since people needed food and all that. And then like for the main game, we're gonna have stuff where like Saeed finds Rousseau. Once you find Rousseau, you can go to the Black Rock. You make the Black Rock shot like 3 times, and then it opens up the hatch. You shoot the ball into the hatch, and then that triggers numbers mode, and so then you have to make like 6 shots on the board to equate to the numbers, and then there's like a loop shot that'll be like hitting the execute button. And from there, who knows what might happen. You'll have to play it someday to know.
Okay, well, Jeri and I worked together, put aside our differences, to get this hatch thing working. So when you go to the Black Rock 3 times, get the dynamite, the hatch will open, and then you need to shoot in the hatch. Right now it makes a polar bear sound for some reason, but I'll give you a demonstration. Okay, there's our ball. So we get through here. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So the hatch opens and you're ready to go inside of it. And then it kicks it out there. And sometimes it goes back in. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that's a demonstration of the hatch. I think that's about all the mechanicals we're gonna have ready for the show. So now we'll get this packed up, tweak the programming a little bit, and move on to the Midwest Gaming Classic. Here we are at the Midwest Gaming Classic.
Didn't see that I just lost the ball as well. No, it's Ben's design made me lose the pinball.
Putting this together, even though it's my second one.
So Ben, what happened here?
Some magic smoke came out of the Paxton machine. So luckily we were at a show, so I was able to go find a coil to hopefully fix it.
So it was the one for the ball trough, the kicker?
Yeah, I'm thinking what happened was, I think in the code, it opens up to like let the ball through, and then it stays open until it sees that the ball is passed through. So something must have made the ball get stuck, so the ball never like triggered as being passed through, and thus the solenoid got stuck on. Okay, well luckily we're at a pinball show, so I got a coil that still has its magic smoke inside of it, so let's see if it works.
Oh yes.
Ha ha! We fixed it on the spot. Take that, Team Ellsworth.
That's all the time we have for today. In our next episode, we'll be working with Ben Sawyer of the Games for Health Foundation to create a new type of game controller. We'll see you then.
The Ben Heck Show is made possible by our sponsors at Element 14. For more information on all my projects and for a list of all the parts I used today, visit element14.com. We'll see you next time.